Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss this week's issue of Production Weekly and how it has changed from what I covered last week regarding Scream 7. Not only are there significant changes on the listing for Scream 7, but we also have a new entry in the publication that was not there last week. And it looks like there may be some sleight of hand in play for the studio. Allow me to explain. Let's go.
It's David Arquette, Dewey from the Scream movies, as you know. Remember, there's only one rule to surviving a horror movie, and that's subscribing to Craving Something Scary.
So I want to give a shout out to K Scream 6 Spoilers over on Twitter for alerting me to this significant update in Production Weekly. So thank you so much, K. Now, just a reminder, Production Weekly is the trade publication for the film industry, and it is an incredibly reliable source. And last week I discussed how it had been updated with the filming timeline, location, and more for Scream 7. Well, this week it has been updated yet again, and instead of adding new details, they have actually removed a lot of details. So first, let's look at last week. This is what I brought you guys last week. Notice what's circled. We have status is Q1, 2024. That's when it's going to be filming. Location in Montreal. And then look down at the bottom, and we see wrap is April 19th, 2024. Working title is Blackbird. So as you can see here, and again, I talked about it last week, a very exciting update. And it looks like, hey, we're going back to Montreal. We're going to film in the first quarter, and we're going to wrap up in April. And so that was exciting news. Well, I want to show you now the screenshot of this week's listing for Scream 7. And of course, everything grayed out there are like the phone numbers and information is private or personal for the companies and stuff. But look at what we have here. Look at the status now. Instead of being status of Q1 2024 with a location of Montreal, all we have now is status active development. Totally gone. And then look at the bottom. Underneath the brief synopsis, there's no wrap date there, and there's no working title listed. So basically, what they've done is they've removed the working title, the filming timeline, the end date, and location. All of that has been removed from Scream 7 in this publication, Production Weekly. So what a difference a week makes, right? Now, that in of itself brings up some questions, but before I discuss this entry and these changes, there's a new entry in the publication this week that was not there last week, and this really makes things interesting. Now remember the working title of Scream 7. It listed it last week as Blackbird. Well, look at what we have here. Blackbird has now been entered into the publication Blackbird feature film. Status is active development. And the location is Montreal. And the project manager is Daniel Auclair, who is the same one that was listed last week on the Scream 7 entry. So, this is very interesting, guys. It looks like what they've done is they're like, you know what? We don't want the studios thinking, hey, we don't want all this to be out there on Scream 7. Everyone's going to see this information. And so what we're going to do is we're going to remove it from Scream 7 because Scream 7, let's face it, that's what everyone's looking for. When you're trying to get information, you're looking for Scream 7. So what they've done is they've minimized the information. They've removed the timelines, the location, working title. Instead, they created a new entry for Blackbird, and that is where they will do the information needed there for casting, right? For all those things, because that's the working title. So everyone in the industry that's doing the work, they're working for a movie called Blackbird. And I think what may have happened here, and I don't know this, of course, this is simply my guess, it's at least possible that the studio made a mistake when they released this information last week. When they released the location, the timeline of Q1, wrap date April 19th, and the working title of Blackbird. I think it's very possible that they put that information in there and then immediately were like, oh no, this has to come out. We shouldn't have put that in there. And then immediately course corrected so that this week, which is 1 week later, it's been corrected to what it is now. No working title, no timeline for filming, no location, just active development. That is all for Scream 7. And then they created the second entry under Blackbird, where we do see it is indeed Montreal, as it said the week before for Scream 7. And they didn't put the timelines in there for Blackbird, but they did give us that location. And they also gave us the project manager, who was the same one listed for Scream 7. So I think what they're doing, guys, is they're doing a little bit of magic, sleight of hand, and they are shifting away the pertinent details from Scream 7 and moving it over to Blackbird. And I suspect, and we'll watch this closely because this comes out every week. And, again, this comes out weekly, and this is 3 weeks straight that the listing for Scream 7 has been modified. And now we have the Blackbird entry. So it's worth watching closely. And I do want to also say this. Just because that April wrap date and Q1 filming timeline is no longer listed anywhere, that does not necessarily mean it's no longer the plan. They just maybe decided we want to keep that information on the down low right now, especially with the strikes going and all. Wait and see what happens when this strikes in, and we can get back to it. So I suspect the Blackbird entry could be where they're going to post more details, and hopefully, keeping it a little less easy to find, because again, Scream 7 is what people will be searching for. However, knowing that Blackbird is the working title, just like, remember, Blackmore was the working title for Scream 6, they let the cat out of the bag, the studio did, in last week's listing. So I'm going to keep you guys posted as I learn more, obviously. And honestly, I'm excited to see what happens in next week's listing. Because if it's, is it going to show anything different from this week or not, as it has 3 weeks running? We'll have to wait and see. But one thing we can be sure of, there is at least some movement going on for Scream 7 here. Things are happening at some level. So I'll tell you guys this, stay tuned. And when I know, you'll know. I'll get a video up right away. All right, everyone, I'm going to leave it there for now, but I want to know, what do you think about these changes and now the new entry of Blackbird? Start leaving your thoughts, ideas, and any theories you may have in the comments section below now so we can discuss it together. I look forward to that. Well, that's going to be all for this update, but I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.